Hey y'all, Josh here today, aka the world's greatest dad. And what we got behind me is the Chapin 8304C 100-pound turf broadcast spreader. And we're hanging out down at our baseball field today, and we got to put this bad boy to work. And along the way, we're going to show you everything you need to know about it to see if it might be a good option for you as well. So to start out, let's do a quick walk around of the unit itself. I will tell you, when you pick this thing up, it's not pre-assembled. It's going to come in a box with several different pieces that you do need to put together. About a 12-step process, and it took me about an hour and 15 minutes from unboxing to complete setup. Now, you shouldn't have any issues if you can follow basic instructions and you're even semi-mechanically inclined. A couple things I want to point out here, of course, is this nice 100-pound hopper. Those nice pneumatic rubber wheels that are going to get you over pretty much every terrain, and these nice handles right here as well. Now let's go ahead and talk about this hopper itself. Again, this has a 100-pound capacity, which just does a ton of volume to move when it comes to your fertilizers and weed and feeds and whatever else. And one thing that's kind of cool about this is it has these nice little finger grips on the end here. So if you do have to pick this thing up to move it, it actually has some grippage and you shouldn't rip your fingers up too bad. Now, another cool thing about the hopper itself is it also includes these hopper grates right here that simply install here on the top, and then when you're pulling in your fertilizer or whatever else you're using, any big chunks will go ahead and get stopped up top so you can smush them and make them smaller, and that way you're not going to have any blockage when you're trying to push this thing and get everything spread out. And here is what the top of your hopper looks like without the grates. And here it is with them installed, and basically they just click into place right here on the corners, and if you want to remove them, you got these nice little finger holes right there to simply pull them out. Another nice bonus that Chapin hooks you up with this package is this cool rain cover you can simply install over the top. So if you're spreading any fertilizers or anything else and it's slightly raining, that way all your product inside won't get wet. And installing your rain cover is super simple. I'm just going to simply bring this over the sides on each part. Then you can tighten or loosen the elastic right here. And since the rain cover has this clear plastic top, you can always see how much product that you have left in the hopper. Now at the bottom of our hopper here, you'll see this is where we attach our auger agitator, and they actually give you two separate ones. You've got this zinc-plated one, which is going to be your standard one for all your weed and feeds and fertilizers and stuff like that. But if you have more dense material like ice melt or stuff that tends to clump up a little more, you might want to use this spiked agitator. And these things can be switched in and out by simply undoing this nut right here and then putting the new one on and tightening it back up. Now, besides our poly hopper box, everything else on this is going to be made of durable steel and metal, including our linkage right there, which is steel here at the top, fully connectable and adjustable down there at the bottom. And that's going to minimize any issues or breakage that you would have with any of these parts. So today we're going to be spreading some weed and feed on the infield of our baseball field. So let's go ahead and get this bad boy loaded and get to work. And as you can see, that hopper grate comes in handy, so we can break down these clumps. So this bag was already a little empty, and as you can see, full. It was 43.8 pounds. So we probably got about 35 pounds of weed and feed in here. And as you can see, still a ton of room to load in that hopper. Now, obviously, when we're moving from place to place, we don't want any of this to get out. We've got our gate fully closed here, and none of it is escaping out the bottom. So before we get to spreading, we got to get our settings just right so we dispense just the right amount of our weed and feed. Now to do this, we're going to go ahead and take a look at the back of our weed and feed. And although it doesn't show us a Chapin spreader, it does show us a Scott's broadcast spreader. And it says we need to set our Scott's at 3.5. Now in the back of your instruction book that this thing comes with, you're going to see a conversion guide. And as you'll see at the top there, it shows you Scott's 3.5 is the same setting as a 12 on this Chapin would be. So we know that we want to be set at 12 to get the correct amount of solution spread onto our lawn. So to set this, we're going to go ahead and loosen this little nut right here. We're going to move it right to the 12 mark and go ahead and tighten it. And that way, when we pull this back, it won't go any further and it won't be bouncing around as we're moving also. So when we pull this back, it'll be at a 12 setting, and when we close it, everything will be shut off. now the next adjustment I have to pay attention to is my left and right gate here, and that's going to affect the different spread patterns. So right now I have both of those fully open, and what that is going to give me is a full spread pattern. Now if I want a left spread pattern, what I'm going to do is leave my right gate open, but I'm going to close my left gate right there. Now if I want a right spread pattern, I'm going to do the exact opposite. I'm going to fully open my left gate, and I'm going to close my right gate. And the last option I have is the narrow or centered spread pattern. If I want that, I'm simply going to close both of the gates. So for our first pass, we're going to go ahead and do the perimeter of the infield. And of course, we don't want to be spreading a bunch of the solution out here on the actual dirt. So we want a left broadcast spread. And again, to do that, we're going to make sure this right side is pulled fully open and this left side is fully closed. And then we're going to get the majority of the spread to the left and just a little bit to the right. Now that I've done my perimeter, I want to put this on the widest spread setting when I go back and forth in the middle. So I'm going to make sure that both of those are pulled out, and now I'm going to get the furthest spread. Thing pushes super nice, plus these nice comfortable hand grips. Just easy to maneuver. One quick tip for you. Always make sure you shut the gate when you're still rolling, and also start rolling before you open it, and that way you won't lose a bunch of product at the bottom when you start and stop. All right, so we just finished up our weed and feed infield project on our high school baseball field. And I gotta say, this thing is an absolute beast. Now I wanted to pull out another one of my spreaders just to kind of show you some of the differences and really why you want the right tool for the job. Now this is a Scott's Turf Builder Edge Guard Mini, and I really like this thing for little small jobs. You know, my yard at my house, fairly small, this thing works great. But for a large project like a baseball field or somebody with large acreage, that Scott's Turf Builder just ain't gonna cut it. It's got little plastic wheels and a pretty small hopper compared to this bad donkey right here with those big old 12-inch pneumatic tires and of course that 100-pound hopper. So a few more things you should know about Chapin the company and this spreader itself. Number one, Chapin is a USA-based company, and they produce these right here in the US with global materials. The second thing you should know is that they do provide US-based customer service, which I love, man, because I want to talk to somebody from the US when I call them up if I have a problem. The third thing you should know is this thing comes with a 5-year limited warranty, so if you got any problems with it, Chapin's going to take care of you. So there you go, kids. That's pretty much everything you need to know about the Chapin 8304C 100-pound broadcast spreader. Now, other than the fact that it took me about an hour and 15 minutes to put this thing together, I gotta say, baby, it is heavy duty, well constructed, and very accurate as far as the spreader settings. It's for those reasons and more, I easily give this thing a World's Greatest Dad thumbs up, and I say, go out and get you one. Hey there, one more thing before you go. I want to let you know that the Chapin company is a big fan of the World's Greatest Dad's informational videos. Therefore, a few months ago, they reached out to me and asked me if they could send me this product for video review purposes. Now, with that being said, all the thoughts and opinions expressed in this video were my own, and I always do my best to accurately describe any product I review. Now, I hope this video helped you out, and we'll see you next time.